Hey guys, my name's Daniel from Travelers. Joining me today is Prue from travel blog Straight On Detour. Hey Prue, how's it going?
Yeah, good, thanks. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad. So let me get this right. You and your partner Bex, you run a travel blog called Straight On Detour,
Yeah,
and you're basically travel obsessed.
just a little. Um, yeah, just a little. I'm one of those typical people that went to uni, loved it, finished uni, thought I'd take a gap year, and 7 years later, I'm still traveling.
Okay, so you know the rules. I've got a bunch of questions lined up for you, and we've got 5 minutes to get through them. You ready?
Yep, let's do it.
Okay, so tell me a bit more about yourself and your blog.
Cool. So, as you know, I've been traveling for 7 years. I'm only half of Straight and Detour. Beck's upstairs reading a book, actually. Nah, so pretty much our blog, first and foremost, is our diary. Like everything we do, everything we write about, it goes in there. So other than that, it is a bit of a travel resource for those who are like us that, want to do those big budget destinations, but don't have the big budget to go with it.
Yeah.
So we go out, do stuff we want to do, find out the cheapest way to do it, write it all down so you guys can kind of copy it. So whether that be stuff like finding polar bears in the wild or swimming with humpbacks in Tonga or, climbing volcanoes or swimming with underwater volcanoes, any of that kind of stuff. Yeah, we're into it and we try and find cheap ways to do it.
Yeah, so it's all
So that's our
about
blog.
the truth about travel. It's not about promoting things or anything like that. It's about going on holiday and just sharing the truth about your experience.
Yep. Yep. And trying to do stuff as cheaply as possible and not missing out just because you don't have the money, you know?
Yeah, great. Um, I have to ask this question. I read on your blog that you hate it when people say that they blog to inspire people. Why is that? Tell me more about that.
I absolutely hate that word. It's everywhere. I swear every single travel blogger that I've read wants to inspire, which is awesome. I'm going to leave that to them. But for me, I feel like inspire is such a kind of dreaming word. It's not really practical. And I guess when we started the blog, we wanted to be practical and we wanted to show all sides of travel, the good, the bad, the ugly, and the boring. And I feel like being an inspiring travel blogger is just showing the one side of travel. And another thing, that big movement that's like quit your job and travel the world or, quit your 9 to 5 and become a digital nomad. That's inspiring, but at the same time, us as travel bloggers aren't showing you the other side to that. It's our duty to show you both sides of that lifestyle, and we need to remember that. And that's not inspiring if you're only showing one side.
Yeah, it goes back to before we were talking about that. You're all about sharing the truth, not all the fancy sides of it, but the whole package. I think that's very
Yeah.
interesting. I'd never thought of it that way, so it's very, very interesting. Um, what's been your most eye-opening experience?
Ugh, okay. Quickly, China. 5 years ago, it always comes back to China. Go there. Western China is untouched. It's so raw. The culture is so messy and thick, and it's ugly a lot of the time. But it's so good. And there was times where we were hitchhiking with Tibetan nomads and 5,000-meter plateaus, and they wrapped us up in a tent because it was so cold. And you know, it was so good. Google Western China. If that's the one thing you do today, give it a go.
Okay, I'll have to look into that.
Absolutely do it. There's like Tibetan sky festivals and like, have you ever heard of a sky burial?
No?
It's a Tibetan funeral where it's a privilege for people to be laying out and vultures come down and eat their flesh, and it's about taking the soul to heaven, and that happens in Western China. And if you kind of get involved in the culture and you meet some people, you might be invited to kind of go and see one of these things.
So you started off, you made travel your career straight out of uni. What was the most challenging thing about that?
Probably the hardest thing is getting in a niche. Um, as a travel blogger, you need to define yourself pretty quickly, what you want to promote and what your readers will be able to latch onto and expect every blog after blog. Um, to this day, we don't have a very good niche. But yeah, we're kind of, that's one of the most difficult things to get your head around, to be fair.
Well, I think it's quite unique that you simply share the whole package truth. So, do you have any other exciting trips coming up?
Yeah, we do. I'm pretty excited, to be fair. So we should finish this 5-month road trip in the end of May. And then in June, we have a car and we're going up into the northern parts of Norway. And we're going to camp loads, hike loads, and go check out this sun never setting.
That sounds
24 hours daylight.
that sounds really good. All right, I'm afraid time's up, but it's been really interesting talking to you, Prue. Thank you very much for your time. I really appreciate it.
No, thanks, Daniel. Thanks for sharing Travel Loris with me.